us to page 80. Page 80. Sujanarvudaradita padayugam yugadharmaturandara patravaram Sujanarvudaradita padayugam yugadharmaturandara patravaram Sujanarvudaradita padayugam
Let's do page 125. Akrodha Paramananda Nityananda Roy Abhimana Shunya Nitai Nagare Bedoy Akrodha Paramananda Nityananda Roy Abhimana Shunya Nitai Nagare
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Let's see you again. Bye. You have a spare mic?
Okay, cool. So, 155. Bajahure mana Sri Nandanana Bhaya Charanara Vrindare.
Bhagavate Mana Srinandana Abhaya Charana Vindare.
Bajahure mana Sri Nandanana Bhaya Charanara Vrindare.
Bhajavate Mana Srinandana Abhaya Charana Vindare.
Bhagavad
Hare
That mic is good, nice echo. Like you in front of the stadium.
I
You
turned
have-
up the echo.
Yeah, it's quite
You like in front of the stadium, like 100,000 people, like yeah.
Thought we'll make it a little bit more of a party today.
Hare Krishna.
Ramanada Prabhu, we're thinking we sing one more and then we can start. Is that okay? Yeah? You want to do one more? Since you do. Can we go? Anyway.
Тебя разбудили, да? Ну, что, выходные нормально, поспать. Ты танцевала, ты на дискотеке до утра, да? Шучу.
Giridhārījīu at 66.
You know that one?
Can you sing? Maybe say 166.
No.
That's
You know that one? All right.
166. Ki jani ki bole tumhara dhame te hoinu sharanagata.
Ki jani ki bole tumhara dhame te
Tumi dayaman patita pavana patita
всю ночь.
That's awesome. That's Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
I'm going to read something from Bhagavad-gita today. Unless someone has any questions or any particular topic you'd like to discuss. Anything? No? In particular? Okay.
Do you want a microphone? Are you okay?
I'm fine. That should be right. Right, so today we're reading from Srimad Bhagavad-gita, The Hidden Treasure of Sweet Absolute by His Divine Grace, Srila Bhakti Raksak, Sridhar Dev-Goswami Maharaj. And the chapter is called The Path of Renunciation of Action. Right, I think we were reading this last week about karma yoga, selfless activities, and the way to the path of enlightenment. And we can carry on from there, I suppose. So, the Lord does not generate anyone's ego of considering themselves the door, nor their actions, nor their association with the fruits of their actions. These are all the results of their external nature, of ignorance since time immemorial. The Supreme Lord accepts neither the sin nor the piety of anyone. The living being fall into illusion because their knowledge is covered by ignorance.
It's chapter 2, yeah?
That's chapter 5, The Path of Renunciation of Action. For persons whose divine knowledge has awakened, their ignorance is destroyed, and their wisdom, like the shining sun, reveals the supreme reality. Those whose illusion has been completely dispelled by knowledge always think of me, the Supreme Lord. I am their meditation, and they abide in me alone, hearing and singing my glories in pure devotion. Thus, they are liberated from the mundane. The enlightened souls see transcendence within all living beings, whether the humble and learned Brahmana, the cow, the elephant, the dog, or the dog-eater. Therefore, they are to be known as Pandit, the man of true wisdom. So it's interesting that when we are in a world, we try to categorize people in categories, so to say. And actually, that's the construct of the mind. When we seeing something means to putting it into a certain category. And like, let's say, the cat, he does not see the chair because he doesn't have that category in his mind, the chair. And therefore, for him, it's like something with the roof or something. So the conditioning or our sense of self is predetermining what and how we view the reality. And so here we hear that the persons whose divine knowledge has awakened, their ignorance is destroyed, and their wisdom, like shining sun, reveals the supreme reality. So the ignorance is related to falsely acquired sense of self, the conditioning of a human being. So we undergo the experience of human, and as a result of that, the world we see appears in a certain way. And but in the absolute sense, we're souls, we're conscious observers who are undergoing the human experience. And at some point of eternity, we leave aside that illusion of being humans. But for now, for the time being, it seems as a very solid and eternally existing thing. So, those whose minds are equipoised in Brahman have conquered the cycle of birth and death while living within this world. By their perfect spiritual equanimity, they are always situated in transcendence, absorbed in transcendence, endowed with steady intelligence, and free from the delusion of thinking of the body and associated objects as me and mine. The knower of the Absolute is neither happy when pleasant things come his way, nor sad when unpleasant things come his way. That's very nice. It's sometimes it's easy not to be sad when something bad happens. I mean, you can just ignore it. But it's very difficult not to become happy when something good happens to you. And so, just like in a dream, there's dreams with positive, like positive dreams, and you have something nice happening in a dream, or a nightmare. But in the end of the day, dream is a dream, and those who are awoke in to their true self, they see the characters of this world and the events almost as a dream, to that extent. So, by having a solid experience of self and as an observer, and here it's mentioned as absorbed in transcendence, endowed with steady intelligence and free from the delusion of thinking of the body and associated objects as me and mine. The knower of the Absolute is neither happy when pleasant things come his way, nor sad when unpleasant things come his way. Detaching his mind from external pleasures, such as knower of the Absolute Truth tests the inner joy of self-realization. Then, absorbing himself in meditation of the Absolute, he experiences inexhaustible bliss. It's normally for us to be happy, be content with something, we have to depend on some external things, like a certain arrangement, certain things. But person who is self-realized, he is drawing inner fulfillment from within, and in that sense, he's not dependent on things around. He's not viewing his body as a means for acquiring enjoyment and happiness, but because he is happy within himself, just from realizing his eternal nature and being clear about that every second of his existence. He is quite content just with that realization. I'm speaking theoretically because it's, O son of Kunti, the pleasures that arise from the contact of the senses with their objects are the cause of unhappiness, as they are transient. The wise never delight in such pleasures. Know that one who before leaving the body utilizes the opportunity of this life to check the impulses of desire and anger, he is a yogi who knows true happiness. Such a yogi sees the self within and delights in the bliss of self within. Attaining the transcendental state, he attains liberation from matter and an entry in the abode of Brahman. So, in the Vedic philosophy, they say that the source of consciousness is Brahman, Brahma Jyoti. So that is referred as a light, a bright light which illuminates or comes from the spiritual world. And then that Brahma Jyoti is like, sometimes you in the room and there's a beam of light coming from the window and you literally can see it like a beam of light. So in that sense, Brahman is like a light emanating from the spiritual world. And then certain parts of that light, they become disconnected from that ocean of light, and they acquire individuality, and that is the process of formation of jiva, or the soul. And so the soul is always a part of Brahman, Brahma Jyoti, but then at some point of eternity it acquires illusory sense of self, and this illusory sense of self separates it from the whole. But this is temporary arrangement, and that arrangement is done for the living entity to be able to wish or express one's desire, because for sake of expressing a desire to serve the Lord or to choose love over exploitation, one has to possess sense of self. And acquiring sense of self is only possible if one has identification. So one has to identify self in some way. And this is what we see here. We all see ourselves to be individuals, separate from each other, and this was a necessary step for us to take in order to make a choice of going back to Godhead, or going back to the world of love, joy, happiness, and but here it says, the seers of truth attain such liberation. So there's a different type of spiritual practices, and they put different aim to their practice. So if we talk about Buddhism, or the Buddhist philosophy, so they map their highest attainment as a freedom from suffering, and lack of self-awareness, nirvana. So on a technical language, nirvana, that is the time when jiva, or the soul, merges back into Brahman. And in that state, it self-forgets within eternity, and that moment is described as the highest attainment of the soul. And the Buddhists, they don't see soul as a actual thing that actually exists. It almost like an illusion, which comes to being and then ceases to exist. But the Gaudiya Vaishnava devotees, they believe that there is the world of form, but beyond Brahman, on the other side of Brahman, further down. That the spiritual world consists of relationships, and different types of relationship, in fact. While the Buddhists or Mayavadis, they believe that everything is illusion, and Brahman is the highest thing. There's nothing beyond it. So I think that there's 6 types of liberation described in Bhagavatam, and merging back into Brahman, that's referred to as Sayuja Mukti. This one is not the most favorable one, because in that type of liberation one loses his sense of identity, and without sense of identity it's not possible to render service to the highest realm. And the Vaishnav, in Gaudiya Vaishnava tradition, the devotee, he takes shelter of a Mahabhagavatam Vaishnav, he surrenders to him, and Mahabhagavatam Vaishnav, he takes him through Brahmajyoti and allows him to enter the positive side of reality, where he engages him in service to the higher plane. Because without shelter of Vaishnav, we cannot pass through that plane of Brahmajyoti, because we will merge with it and self-forget. But the Vaishnav, he allows us to preserve our illusory individuality, which we acquired on this side, and bring it to in the plane of reality, which is beyond Brahman, but from the other side, so to say. So sinless, free from doubt, self-controlled, and dedicated to the welfare of all living beings, the seer of the truth attains such liberation. Persons of the renounced order, who have controlled their thoughts, who are free from the desire and anger, and who have achieved knowledge of the nature of the soul, are liberated, whether they live or die. Yeah, so it's interesting to say that those who have achieved knowledge of the nature of the soul, so it's not necessarily the type of knowledge you gain from reading something, or how we normally learn information. We hear something, we understand it, so with our intellectual capacity we kind of simplify the concepts and then kind of understand it, simplify. But this type of knowledge is a bit different. It's not understood through the faculty of the intellect, but it's given by the Vaishnav. So the Vaishnav, he can give that to us, and that understanding and that realization is almost like a mercy, because someone who has something, a lot of something, and they can give you a bit of that understanding or realization, and then you don't have anything to pay back, because all life you were collecting currency of the illusory world, but then some agent comes, the agent of the different reality, and then he gives you something of a real value, and that is the currency of the reality, the faith and understanding of what is the nature of the reality. And here we just have money, power, fame, enjoyment, knowledge, like material knowledge, and none of those things they are real in the absolute sense. It's just temporary. So expelling from the mind all the external sense objects of sound, touch, form, taste, and smell, centering the concentration and stabilizing the incoming and outgoing breath, subjugating the senses, mind, and intelligence, dedicating himself to liberation, his desire, fear, and anger gone, such a sage is ever liberated. I am the enjoyer and objective of the sacrifices performed by persons of action and of the austerities performed by persons of knowledge. I am the Narayan, the indwelling monitor of all planes of life, the worshipable Supreme Personality who award liberation. I am Krishna, the well-wisher of all, and the dear friend of the devotees. One who knows me thus attains the bliss of knowing his own original divine identity. So that's the end of chapter 5, the path of renunciation of action. Yeah.
You'll start chapter 6.
Shall we? It is left hand? Okay. Okay, so chapter 6 is called Dhyana Yoga, the path of meditation. The Supreme Lord said, know a genuine sannyasi and a yogi as one who without expectations of the fruits of his actions perform his duties as prescribed by the scriptures. One is not a sannyasi merely by renouncing the performance of the fire sacrifice and other prescribed duties, and one is not a yogi merely by becoming physically inactive. O Arjuna, that which is known as sannyas, complete renunciation, you should know to be yoga. That which is known as a sannyasa, complete renunciation, you should know to be yoga, since without renunciation, fruit of desire, no one can be a yogi. For the yoga practitioner, desirous of attaining steady yoga meditation, action is said to be the means. When he has achieved yoga meditation, renunciation of all actions is said to be the means of remaining in meditation. When the yoga practitioner does not become attached to the objects of the senses and to any action in pursuit of their enjoyment, and renounces all thoughts of enjoyment, then he is said to be attained to yoga. So the term yoga, it's interesting, but in Latin, yoga and religion is basically the same meaning. Yoga is reconnection or re-establishment of some connection. And if you break down the term religion, religio, it's also reconnecting. But in modern time, when people hear yoga, they think of some asanas and some meditation, like physical practices, where actually the re-establishment of the connection with the Lord through a certain practice, that can be that's called yoga, reconnection, reunion. One must elevate himself by the mind, not degrade himself by the mind. For the mind is sometimes the friend of the living being, and in other situation, that very mind is an enemy. One who has conquered the mind, his mind is his friend. For one unable to control the mind, his mind works against him like an enemy. So that's we can break down, try to understand what is mind and how that mind works. What's the function of the mind? So in a very core of the living entity is the soul, or what we call I, observer, consciousness. And the consciousness, it looks on the, like a screen, right? The screen, like in a cinema. When you go to the cinema, you see like the screen. And so the mind is that which helps you to see things, like a screen, like a white screen. And our mind distinguishes between pleasurable and not pleasurable, tasty, not tasty, enjoyable, not enjoyable. So here's this feature of accepting something which is pleasing and rejecting something which is not pleasing. And that's pretty much how the whole universe operates. Like all the animals, they are drawn by pleasing things, and they try to avoid something which is not pleasing for them. But then in the human form of life, another layer appears, which is intelligence, another function. And so intelligence, it distinguishes between whether it will be complementing to reach the goal or not. Will it be an obstacle to reach the goal or not? And so, let's say, some example. Someone wants to have a six-pack, like work out in the gym. So he goes to the gym, he starts to work out, and it's a painful experience, for example. And then the mind is basically saying, you shouldn't do this because this is not enjoying it, it's painful. But then, if one possesses enough intelligence over mind, he can force himself to do that, knowing that it would bring a positive benefit in the end. So this is a perfect example how a human being can go against his mind and do something which appears to be unpleasant in the moment for the sake of attaining higher benefit. So that's the case when human being uses intelligence over mind. And
Can I share a personal example here?
yeah, sure, of course, yes, yes.
There was a time in my life around 2018-19 where I was living on like 2 spoons of oats a day, homeless. And when I say this to my friend, I was left in India because of COVID. My flight back was on the day of the lockdown, so I stayed there like over 4.5 years. So when I explained to my friend about my situation, she's like, "Oh my God, that's so painful, you know." And I said to her, "Okay, take that away now, erase that, and now I'll tell you, my body needed to detox from all the old that I had within me, and I fasted for 6 weeks, just eating 2 spoons of oats." And straight away she's like, "Wow." So straight away I said, so if I hold on to how your world is programming me to say, wow, you know, nobody helped me, no one came for me, then I will remain in illness, you know. But if I remain to say, look, my body needed detoxing, and because I wasn't listening to my higher mind, I create that. We are the creators of everything that is external, you know. We are seeing so much about parasites in human bodies, but we are also uncovering in the real world the parasites within corporations, and you know, so we are creating our reality. And I personally feel that if we clean our own parasites within, then and from place of love, because the people who have done us wrong, they've also shown us our weaknesses. They've taken us away from the infinite knowledge and the wisdom that we hold inside, and we were vulnerable away vulnerable enough to take away ourselves to experience this life. But everything is gone system, so I feel the disconnection from the heart is now bringing us back to ourselves.
Yeah, so sometimes the environment puts us in a certain circumstances which appear not entirely pleasing.
Yes.
But then if you look back in the long run, you realize that was a good contribution to your health. And so actually the devotees, those who surrender to the Lord and those who see the presence of the Lord in their day-to-day life, they realize that the things which are happening randomly, something what happens, everything is favorable. It's so in that sense, there are no enemies and friends, because there was a good example, the people who are delivering into our life something what we call good or bad is like postman. The postman, when you order something on Amazon, and the postman brings you the parcel, and then you open that parcel and you are either happy or sad, but the fact that this post arrived into your life, that is a result of your previous activities. So karma means the presence is the result of our past and is cause for our future. So whichever experience we're undergoing in the present moment, that is a result of our previous actions. And then it has been sent to us to purify us and to refine our understanding. And by going through this and by properly trying to self-reflect, it can be very progressive and very, very good. Yeah, thank you. That's nice. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of people nowadays, because they don't have a place of religion to attend to, because in places of religion, this is where they emphasize this. You know, you need to reflect, you need to think about what you did good, what you did bad. This is so heavily emphasized in temples, mosques, Christian places, churches. That's lost when people, they don't go to a religious service. So they are left kind of lacking a little bit in that reflecting thing. They obviously do reflect, everyone does reflection, right? But it's so emphasized when you come to a temple or a place of worship. So that's really lacking in like society in general.
Yes, I think it's very important to surround yourself with people who constantly remind us about temporarily of this world. That this world is temporary, and that we are here for a particular reason. That the meaning of life is not that what the members of the society are trying to impose upon us. You know, that it's not a matter of simply playing the social role and then doing that, making that a purpose of your life. So there's a very clear difference between the duty prescribed by the social environment and the duty of the heart, or of the soul, or what Bhaktivinoda Thakur referred as Jiva Dharma. So Jiva, the heart, the soul, it has a purpose and has a duty, and also that avatar we have here, like this social avatar also has a duty. So and one duty, the external duty, is prescribed for us. So by selflessly, we spoke about it last time, but by selflessly adhering to our external duty, we acquire deeper understanding of self. We can realize that we are not the body, we're not man, woman, mother, son, child. So all this social external is temporary arrangement, but then actually there is a I, like as a quantum of consciousness who also has a purpose, and that purpose is to be servant of something higher than us, something higher. And the plane of beauty, love, that's way beyond. And so devotees, they are using their external duty as almost as a, how do you call it in the gym? That's machines. They use the external duty to practice adherence to the duty, selfless adherence to the duty. And if you can do your duty selflessly without expecting things in return, then you become selfless, and your selfless approach to life, it kind of changes you, it changes your perception. Yeah, it changes your connotation, the way you interpret things. It changes your plans for the future. It changes you from within, basically. And it's very difficult to get rid of that tendency of exploiting, because we came here, like why would we end up in a place where the law of nature is that the strongest one is consuming the weaker one? So the plane of exploitation, which is an ugly place by its fundamental law, and yet somehow we ended up here. So there must be something which made us come in a plane where we can exploit. So there must be some tendency of that living within us. And so evolution of consciousness is that subtle process when one can get rid of that tendency and become a servant. Because being servant is the opposite of being an exploiter. You either exploit something, either you renounce it, either you serve. So there's only three ways of treating the environment. When you exploit something, that means that you put yourself above it, because you cannot exploit something higher than you. It would be not possible. So the tendency to exploit puts one into the place where he is surrounded by those who can be exploited. Or in other sense, that's the categorization between consciousness and matter. So matter is something simpler than consciousness, and therefore the consciousness who possesses the desire to exploit inevitably ends up surrounded by those things it can exploit, which is matter by definition. But then by changing its settings, BIOS settings, by renouncing exploitation and by living in the mode of dedication, one can get in connection with the higher plane, because higher can be served, but it cannot be exploited. And so it happens that also that plane is beautiful. It's not just beautiful, it's beauty. It's something which is very attractive, very beautiful, and that what cannot be exploited, but only served, only worshipped, and only in that way. So until the living entity has the tendency of self-aggrandizement and exploitation, material ambition, it would be residing in a plane where it can fulfill its desires. But once it gets rid of it, once it undergoes a certain level of purification, it can go to the plane where it belongs where it's home. Because I mean, here I think everything is kind of indicating that it's not really our home. Like you cannot go out without like shoes. You're gonna hurt yourself, step on something. It's cold. The mosquitoes are biting you. So the environment is just constantly reminding you that it's not really your. It's like you're not like welcome here. So to say, like in everything. And if the world is eternal, within eternity there must be a place where the fundamental law is not exploitation, but the opposite of that. So if here one survives and flourishes by exploiting the weaker ones, it must be that there's a plane where the law for existence is the opposite almost, giving. So self-giving without expecting anything in return. And so that is the plane of love or dedication. And it happens to be that plane, as described, is on the other side of Brahman, on the other side of Brahmajyoti. So we ended up on the negative side, in a plane of exploitation, where one exploits another by consuming each other forever, and will take a birth, die, and the 8,400,000 forms which you can choose from based on your taste for exploitation. Like if you're a very gross taste of exploitation, you get a tiger's body. You can literally run behind someone and devour. If you have like a subtle form of exploitation, you can be born as a scientist, where you can study like maths and understand how the world operates. It's also exploitation, but a subtle form of it. So, but dedication and service is a completely of a different domain. It's a totally out of this world. That is something which pushes one out of it, because Guru Maharaj said that this world is not a place for a gentleman. Even if you manage to live here and be content to a certain extent, a gentleman would possess a quality of compassion. How would you be happy knowing that people around, there's so many living entities around you are suffering? It would be just not be entirely possible. And so that was the story of Buddha. Actually, he was a prince, and then he was raised in a very nice environment, wealthy, and his father made sure that he is always fed good food, always sees nice things. And then one time he sneaked out from castle, and he saw a man who was skinny old man dying from hunger. And then he saw that and he realizes, wow, like, how can I try to become happy and be happy in this world if I see that there's so much suffering happening here? And so yeah, it's unfortunately this world is not a place of happiness. I mean, it's possible to live peacefully to a certain extent, but
do you think it's really a sad place?
I mean, sometimes you can switch on National Geographics and see how jackals are devouring zebra while it's still alive. And it's nature, I suppose, but it's a sad thing to see that one is trying to fulfill their happiness on the expense of others. Because if you think about that, if you can enjoy apple, that means that there's a whole chain of exploitation behind that. There's a poor guy in Spain growing the apples, picking up them all day, another guy loading trucks, someone bringing it.
Entire perception. He could be a happy farmer.
Yeah.
You could be happily cultivating his apples instead of getting the market.
It could be. Or picking
I really feel that what perception we put towards the external,
Yeah.
like for instance, I think at the moment there's so much hoo-ha about plastic. Plastic is congestioning our planet, right? But what is to say that plastic isn't saving us? Because with the amount of chemicals that's been put in it, if that plastic wasn't there, our planet would have grown, for sure. And there is so much, like, everything is programmed around fighting. You know, oh, you're putting plastic in my food, plastic is appearing in our organs. But if we put the perception to say, you know, what I clean is going to be for the love of my body, you know, spending time to clean my apple or whatever. But what isn't cleaned and what is ingested, we coexist with everything, you know. So why are we too afraid to own that power that we know we have and use that plastic in order to strengthen our veins? I mean, we're moving to the state of, you know, our bodies becoming avatars. If we're going to grow, we need our veins to be a bit more flexible, right?
But
in
my
the
point,
logical sense.
my point with the apple was that in order for one to be, if you want to enjoy an apple or a watermelon, that would mean that there's a whole chain of people who was exploited for you to have it.
Yes.
And so in that sense, our trying to be happy in this plane is on the expense of others. I mean, we when we sit in London, we're kind of like we go in the shop and there's like everything, we get all the food and the well-being of us being here in such a nice position, that's the result of exploiting so many in the third world countries and in general, like throughout history, if you look at Britain. so you know, to the certain extent, it's very much a plane of exploitation, but there must be a place where living entities, they're happy not on the expense of others.
Yeah.
In the same way, the zebra is not suffering. You know, the jackals, they consume it, and the zebra is happy. Not the other way around. It's like where everyone is harmoniously existing.
So you think there's no place where everyone's happy?
But it's not just about exploiting humans. It's
Yeah.
about it might not be a human, right?
Yeah.
But it's going to be a plant
Yeah.
or an animal.
Yeah.
Someone is going to be
Yeah.
eaten.
But
For you to live, you have to
Yeah.
consume something.
Driva Jivasi Jivanam.
So
Yeah.
it will be a plant or an animal or whatever it will be, will have to die at our expense.
Yeah, has to be consumed. So in that sense, we
Sorry, but maybe it's the jackal's karma.
yeah. Well, you see, they already have karma. They pay off their karma in the animal body because they don't have a choice. You see, they just follow their instincts, their mind, and in that sense, the animals, they don't produce karma. In order to produce karma, one has to have a choice, and the animal doesn't have a choice. He just follows his feeling, instinct. Yeah, and so the devotees, they're trying to live in a harmonious way with the environment. So being vegetarian, not eating those living entities who are capable of experiencing pain, and those who have some, you could say, plans for life, you know, those who want to have a life, maybe more simple than ours, but still life. Just try to be more cautious with the environment. I mean, some people, they have this deep sense of compassion towards others, living entities, but some people maybe not, but even if we don't have compassion for others, if we know the law or how the universe operates, we can be compassionate at least towards ourselves. Like if I...
Can I share something there, please?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so, you know, when we see animals suffering, we see videos of animals suffering, we feel like, oh, these humans, look at what they're doing to these poor animals, innocent animals. And I used to feel that. And then I thought, okay, see the wisdom behind everything. So, and then when I look at the bigger picture, I'm like, okay, so if these humans were not neglecting these animals, the people who have taken the time to save these animals from the unconditional love would not be around. They would be wrapped up in the corporate world. So these are the people who are keeping the frequencies of unconditional love alive. So if the people were not neglecting, there wouldn't be love. So the darkness is the light, I feel.
But
Do I make sense?
there would be. I don't think there would be a need to torture someone just that so someone else
Krishna says in
can.
Bhagavad-gita, everyone
Safe.
endures and suffers according to their own karma. There's no one to be blamed.
Yes, yes.
All we
Best
have is the
compassion
power
we
of
can show
mind,
to others.
balancing thinking and
Best compassion
heart.
is to bring others to Krishna. That's what I personally believe in.
Yeah, because
To introduce Krishna to others.
going back to that idea that suffering and enjoyment is just a dream, it's a part of this temporary dreamery state. But then happiness is beyond that, and happiness.
I personally believe, Prabhu, happiness is a thing of the heart. If you don't find it there, you will never find it anywhere. It's not to do with some external experiences, you know.
Sure, sure.
People think, you know, if I live in this house, if I drive this car, if I marry this person, if I get this job, then I'll be happy.
But
The
this
Maya
is-
is always cheating us through our mind. Even though people have all this, what I just said, still they don't have peace of mind. They are not happy. Because happiness is something that is felt within. You cannot find it anywhere else. If you don't find it within yourself, you won't find it anywhere else.
Nowhere.
Yeah.
Matrix is designed to take us away, basically, and all we can do is, in order to balance the outside world, trying to chase something is just going to go away. So I personally feel that taking the time to heal ourselves, if we balance everything within us, we can plug into the cosmos to plug everyone else to balance. And that's the only way we can bring...
I think the only person who we can change is ourselves.
Absolutely.
I mean, it's a great ambitious thing of trying to change the world, but actually,
Change ourselves
Yeah.
and the world will change.
yeah, like if you think about
I
that,
don't think we can change the world in any way.
Oh, we shouldn't.
The thing is,
The power
we have to
of words,
understand,
the power
everybody,
of
Krishna
saying
says in the
no, we
Bhagavad-gita,
won't.
every living entity acts according to his or her nature. You know, philosophy doesn't necessarily change everyone's nature.
yeah, that's
We have seen that.
everyone comes
It
here.
can enlighten
with-
people. Philosophy, Bhagavad-gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, Ramayana, it can bring us enlightenment.
Yes,
But we have to bring the change within ourselves,
absolutely.
within our nature.
Sure, it's hard to argue with that. Yeah.
Stop the sinful activities and try to be, you know, more Krishna conscious, focused.
Do my best.
This is what I'm 65, this is what I've noticed
Yeah.
so far. You know, people have their own experiences,
Sure,
you know, in
sure.
life. Everybody has their own experience.
Sure.
Everyone's experience is not the same. People can be of the same age, but that doesn't necessarily mean they have the same experiences, no.
We're all going to make a different journey to get to one destination, and all it is we're respecting everyone,
Oh, yes.
their own space, you know.
Respect even an end. Because Krishna is in the heart of that end.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Sure.
There is a verse in the Bhagavad-gita,
What time-
Vidya
what
Vinaya
time
Sampane
is that?
Brahmane Yogi Hastini. You know, the humble sage sees everyone equally.
I feel everything is within us because our own journey, we hear stories of Krishna, we hear Rama, all these, love, Kush, everything, everyone. But our own journey needs to be unraveled through our own inner working. That's their journey. They don't want everyone to be Krishna. If everyone was Krishna, there wouldn't be a proper picture. It's like, but we are, whatever form we are Krishna. If I can make sense.
Mm-hmm.
Am I going too deep?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. So there's a form of practice which we try to follow, and to the best of our ability, and it's nice actually that we can at least once a week gather all together and have some little moment together where we can share how was the week, how is it going, because I mean it's not easy to find like-minded people who can the struggle is real, who undergoes similar things and who are on the pathway, so to say. Shall we do now the ārati, right? It's nice. Hare Krishna.
You're already there.
Yasodinandana Brajo Varunagara Gokula Ram Janakana Yasodinandana Brajo Varunagara Gokula Ram Janakana
Srila Prabhu ki jai, Srila Krishna Gopinath Sundar Kundagiri Gaurāṅga Srila Srivara Dev ki jai, Srila Vinataya Sri Sridhar ki jai, Bhakta Pravara Srila Maharaj ki jai, Maharaj ki jai, Rādhā Gunaji ki jai, Srimad Bhagavad-gita Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita ki jai, Vira Chandra ki jai, Raja Sri Chaitanya Math ki jai, Vira Chandra ki jai, Sri Chaitanya Prabhu ki jai, Sri Chaitanya Prabhu ki jai, Vishwa Pitani Sakamat ki jai, Sri Pur ki jai, Sri Namavid ki jai, Vrindavan Dham ki jai, Sri Sundar Dham ki jai, Maharaj Dev-Goswami ki jai, Sri Govinda Kundu ki jai, Sri Gaurāṅga ki jai, Ramanada Prabhu ki jai, Govinda ki jai, Jai Yasakuya और Srila Bhakti Babar, Srila Bhakti Kusul Ashram Maharaj, Maharaj, Rasamayi Dev-Goswami, Srimad Bhagavad-gita Maharaj, Jai Shri Ram Sankirtan, Jai
We met in Reading. Remember?
Did we?
With Thai, Ekala.
Oh yeah, yeah. They do have celebrations like every couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's nice.
Sunday after you were there.
Sunday afternoon. Oh, Sunday afternoon. That's like Sangha group, men's.
Yes, in front of the shop.
Yeah. I think it's gonna be back in a couple of weeks' time. I think yeah, it's nice. Yeah, I'll see you there.
How are you, James? Sorry, my friend, I forgot your name. Vira Chandra. Huh? Vira Chandra. Vira Chandra. Yeah. Good to see you. Good to see you too. Yeah, I thought I'd come down and check out the Saturday program.
Yeah, you're always welcome.
Thank you.
You're always welcome, my friend.
Yeah, I used to live locally, but then, moved out to Berkshire where it was more affordable, but my work is still the same.
Really?
Yeah. I don't know. I think I found this place online somehow.
Really? That's great. Yeah, it's advertised, I think, on Eventbrite.
Yes, I think that's perhaps right.
Yeah, so yeah, it's nice. Yeah. So there's a musical aspect, and then there's like
a devotional aspect, and one of them is like measured by the musical quality, and the other one is just the participation of like a devotional activity. And sometimes, although we really try to improve the music, the devotional aspect sometimes is just, it's almost different, you know, because it's like trying to give oneself to the higher, and that can be done musically, but can be done just generally as well. You can do that like sweeping or cleaning, or, you know, trying to give yourself something higher, the idea. So, but it can be done also through music. Yeah. You felt the calling, yeah?
Well, I was introduced to Bhakti Yoga about just over 2 years ago.
Right.
Sort of various groups
Right.
that had perhaps hippie origins, but had evolved more into Bhakti Yoga, but yoga, harmonium, Mridanga, and all of that.
Yeah.
So it attracts that kind of crowd, but then those who are more interested in the philosophy will sort of form more of an inner circle.
I see.
And then at a festival, I went to festivals, but it was a Bhakti Yoga one, so it was like I felt, I wasn't weirded out by it. And then I met some Krishna consciousness chaps based in Reading.
Is that Narada? Is it Narada? He lives in Bath.
No.
And he's got
So-
glasses.
So there was some, I was a bunch of chaps.